All right. Yay. Hey, everybody. We're finally here. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're here with Les. He is out in Calgary, Canada. I'm in Toronto, Canada, and he has a party rental business that we're going to talk to him about tonight. Plus, we're also going to talk to him being an entrepreneur. So we're just laughing about being an entrepreneur just backstage just now. So, yeah, funny stuff. You know, we all suffer from the same thing being an entrepreneur. Forgetfulness is one of them. Right. So thanks a lot for joining us tonight, Les. And thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Happy to be here. Excited. I don't see like how many on this feed here. Actually, it's interesting because sometimes watching the live stream, I always wonder what you guys, the interviewer and the interviewee, can see, right? Like what information can they see? Can they see all the comments? Can they see all the information? Like how many guests? Like, and so it's interesting to be, because I've never done this before, so it's interesting to be here from on this side of the party, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Feel for it.
Well, you know what? Just get yourself set up properly and whatnot. Feel comfortable. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Jose. Hey, Dave. Thanks for joining us, guys. Little Man East 19. Thanks so much. Stuart A, home-based event business, event rentals. Thanks for joining us also. And guys, everybody, I put Les's channel link at the very top. So scroll up. You can go check out his channel right now. And everybody else, obviously, you know, mingle around and, you know, let's connect and have fun doing this, whatnot tonight. So at any time, as always, the rules are you guys can post questions for Les at any time. Just throw them out there. And I'll try and stay on top of this and manage this the best that I can. Okay, guys? So, first question for Les is, dun, 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 when and why did you start as an entrepreneur? the sweat.
Sorry, I didn't really hear the question. Say it again, sorry.
Okay, here we go. When and why, let's start that again. Hey, Les, welcome to the show. No, kidding. When and why did you start as an entrepreneur?
When did I start?
Yes, when and why?
You literally cut off again there for a moment. From my perspective, I don't know if the audience saw that as well. So when? Okay, you know what? If I don't understand the question, I'll just make it up and not understand. I misheard or something. But you know what? Like I don't know. You know, isn't everybody like this is the question? Are you born an entrepreneur or are you made? I think you talked about this. I'm not sure if you did, but
probably did. Many questions. I know that's a good question to throw out to everybody that's here. Do you guys think that you're actually born as an entrepreneur, or do you think it's something that you can actually grow into? I'm a little. It's tough. I mean, I just believe like you're wired, right? You're wired to be something.
Right.
I could not be like an accountant. I just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So. But
a problem with authority, you know, growing up, I liked freedom. So I was always into like snowboarding, skiing, you know, like where you feel free, you know, scuba diving. What scuba diving is interesting because it's like flying. So I felt free doing it, even though you're actually kind of confined in other ways. But so that's why I like being an entrepreneur. You're free. You don't have to listen to anybody. Although interestingly enough, in the end, sometimes you require more discipline as an entrepreneur than as an employee. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know. You might be free, but you got to work hard. So maybe not always, not everybody. Some people get lucky, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you definitely need to work hard and in order to succeed. So it's kind of, there's a symbol and it says freedom, but at a price. So that's interesting. But I think I started my first business in like junior high. Do they have junior high, like middle school, right? Is that in this? I know a lot of viewers are from the USA. So
good question. Guys, yeah. Ryan, Jose, Daniel, thanks for joining us. Dave, do they have what, like junior? No, like middle school is what you're saying, right? Is it middle school or junior high?
It's a grade 6, 7, 8. So
yeah, we have like middle school in Canada. It's like, yeah, you're right. It's like grade 6, 7, 8. Right. And then for like,
I was selling Pogs and Magic cards like as soon as I was able to. As soon as like, you know, as soon as I had the means, I guess.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, probably for the first 10 years, from like 12 or whatever it was to 20, 22, 24, I probably lost more money than I made. But all those failures definitely slowly started to like teach me how to like succeed. What I was doing wrong. The biggest thing is I started doing like some construction work. I mean, you know how construction work is. Pretty much anybody with a shovel can jump into that. And I was one of those guys with a shovel. And so I was like one of those bad construction workers, bad home renovators. And so I started doing things like that when I was fairly young, you know. And it was interesting because you learn a lot of like do-it-yourself projects, right? And that kind of stays with you for life, oddly enough, even though you might not think of it immediately. But I think it does stay with you for a little bit. But that's where I lost the most money. Because it's surprisingly expensive for you know, materials, construction. You know, I definitely you know, like the costs can add up. So yeah, I definitely lost the most money doing construction work, which is kind of funny. Yeah.
Okay, so explain your current. When did you start this current business that you're doing now, your party rental business? When did you start it? Okay, and explain it to us.
So I started about 3 years ago, home-based, and I actually had a cleaning company randomly before then, but I always had rentals in the back of my mind. Like when you like Google best business ideas, rentals always came up. Structurally, it's sound. We'll go into that later. I mean, the business idea is sound, and we'll go in again. We'll talk about that in a second. That was about 3 years ago. I met a guy who was renting out some cheap pop-up. I literally just, his name is Joe. In fact, I told him to watch today, so he might be somewhere there. Joe Locke watching, I don't know. Or maybe not yet, but I don't know. Maybe he's going under an alias or something. But yeah, I said, listen, because we hit it off over the phone. So I said, listen, I'm teaming up with you. You do North Calgary, I do South Calgary. And I didn't give an option. I just said, I'm coming in.
Nice.
And he was nice enough to like not hang up the phone. And we started doing work together. And rentals is interesting because it was the summertime still. The summertime is busy. And we got really busy really fast to the point that we were at each other's throats, you know, like about to kill each other every day. And it was really fun, but really kind of stressful. But it worked. I was shocked. Like I was like losers could make some money. And that happened 3 years ago. And then April 2018, I moved into a commercial space. We broke up. I actually bought him out. At that point the inventory was still fairly low cost wise, and I bought him out, and then I moved into a commercial bay. Now I had the upper hand, unfortunately, and we're still friends to this day. He worked for me for during the summertime, but I had the upper hand in the sense that I sold my previous business. So I actually had money to lease the bay and to buy more inventory, because that wasn't enough inventory, and to really go at it full time, because I saw the light at the end of the business is good. And so that's the timeline.
Good. And so how many items do you have now for rent, and what's your target market?
We have, I think last time I checked, about 50 different items to rent. And oh yeah, that's Joe. That's Joe right there.
Yeah, just putting his comments up there. He's listening to you. He's verifying everything that you're saying.
Yeah. I like, again, like, it's nice, like there's a little bit of, like, because we were at each other's throats, and that's an overstatement. Like, a lot of times we did get along, and we talked really well, but like we had good conversations. But when things got busy, little things like, it doesn't matter. It could have been another person. The same thing would have happened. In fact, if it was another person, with Joe, I would just sort of like by the throat. But if it was someone else, they could have died potentially. So it's a good thing that it was Joe, because I'm in jail now. Yeah, no, I forget your question now. So your next question. Maybe I answered it. I don't know.
I just want to actually just say hi to a few guys that have shown up here. So, hey, Bobby, thanks a lot. Bobby's he's in from Denmark. Thanks for joining us. It's got to be pretty late there for him. Holy jeez. Thanks a lot for staying awake. Joe, thanks a lot for verifying all that. Kevin, thanks a lot for joining us. Wow. Where are we? Who else? I just don't want to miss anybody. Cerrito Design, thanks for joining us. And let's see who else. That's in the tree. Whoa, hang on. And the tree tent and other entrepreneur stuff.
Yes, guy.
Obviously from your niche. That's cool.
Yeah.
Tree tent and entrepreneur stuff. I joined his channel yesterday.
Oh, go on. There's a time delay, right? So I end up interrupting you naturally because of time delay. So
no, don't worry. I mean, it's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Bobby's saying it's 2 a.m. in Denmark. Thanks a lot for staying up. I know he's a night owl, so this is probably nothing for him. So, but it's good. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Everybody, check out everybody else's channels here, guys. Les's channel is at the very top, so scroll to the very top. I posted that right before. So good to see everybody, man. We got a great network here. This is really cool. Really, really cool. Okay, so what else do you want to tell us about your business before I start getting into more, entrepreneur questions? What else can you tell us about your business? How do you find your clients, first of all? How do you do your marketing? How do you find your clients?
Well, actually, hey, I have an idea, because all the other, like, to make this a less static video, I'll show you this space. Really briefly. I think I can unplug this.
Can you do that?
I think so.
All right, let's try. We've never done this before on Hangout with.
I know, right? So some excitement.
This will be pretty cool. Go for it.
Okay. Hopefully this doesn't, like, there's like 10 things plugged into this laptop, but okay. So this is my.
Joe's helping you out, Les, by answering the question for you.
All right. So this is like the front office there. That's like the reception area, right? There's a door right here. People come through. Okay, maybe I can be slow. And that's the back warehouse there. There's a little wall, and there's a little kids play area because people come in with kids. We also have some disposables. There's the official business license. We're legit. And I won't move too far away because of the Wi-Fi, but that's the warehouse. So there's a few things there.
Looks good. How many square feet?
It's very small. In fact, it's like the smallest warehouse you can pretty much get. That's like a legit bay, So it's 1,500 square feet. And you might argue, 1,500 square feet. My mama's.
That's
1,500 square feet. But in reality, like you people don't consider the height. Like you can use the height. The height isn't measured in those things. So like 1,500 square feet, sure, but like, and when you're getting a space, don't forget to ask, because like you can really make use of that that upper space as well. So so that's the business. It's an event business. We rent stuff out. In the end, though, I think maybe the thing I can think of off the top of my head is I'm a business guy, which applies to your channel. I'm a business guy. I'm not an events guy. And I don't know really what that means, if there's a deeper meaning, but I've done tons of different businesses. Now I'm going to stick with events for as long as I can.
Okay.
But just because I think it's important to stick with something, to focus on it. That's when you really can grow it. But in the end, I'm a business guy. I love talking about other people's businesses, seeing what they're doing, and that's my problem too. I go off on tangents sometimes, right? Like I had the cleaning business before. I met some guy and suddenly I had an event business. So it's dangerous. You know, it's a dangerous trait to have, but I can't, that's who I am. But so that's why I'm trying to stay ultra focused this time around. And really
stay focused as you can. Good job. I think all of us as entrepreneurs have that issue at times. Our focus, you know, it's like, look, squirrel. Right? It's like the focus is really tough to handle sometimes. So tents and rentals, events rentals, thanks for joining us, and says this guy is great. That's you. That's you. Last compliment to you. Gen X, thanks for joining us. I hope I'm getting everybody here, guys. If I'm not, I'm very, very sorry. I'm just trying to go down here. So, you know, there's somebody was asking, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Here we are. Little Man East 9. Where do you find yourself? Where do you want to be, sorry, in 5 years, Les?
On a sailboat, smoking a cigar, just the Gulf Spring Islands, you know, off of Victoria, just laughing with a bunch of people. You know, that's the best place, honestly. And I've been there before, but the problem is only for like 3 days at a time, you know. So it doesn't.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there. It's
you know,
very, very nice, eh? Very nice on the West Coast, like off on the islands and whatnot. Chris, 49, thanks for joining us. This is great, guys. Thanks a lot. Let's see, 5K and you can start a rental company. Oh, hang on. Dave's got a question for you here too. How much is inventory if I want to start one of these businesses?
Yeah, so I pretty much put all my, I would say right now, and we're really small. I mean, we're barely hanging in there, small type small. Like you saw the inventory. We have a little bit more in some sea cans that we have, but generally speaking, we're pretty small. That being said, our business is probably at this point in time $90,000 in inventory Canadian. I don't know if that tells you that much, but you know, start small. Start from your garage, and you can start with $20. In fact, you can start for free. Like honestly, I just rented like a large pallet I found, and I rented it as a backdrop. And I found the thing for free. My neighbor was throwing it out, and so I just took it. I did ask him, although I wasn't going to ask him, but he was there, so I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, take it." So and I rented it out. So honestly, I think you can start for free. Like people throw around big numbers, and you know, that's fine. But just don't go crazy. Start small and like keep your day job. But yeah, like I think the minimum is probably maybe if you want a commercial space, you know, penny pinch first of all. But I think maybe like 40,000-50,000 in inventory would be for a commercial space. But I think Adam started with 5K. Tent guy and other entrepreneur stuff. He started with like 5K. And he only had a couple tents, and then you just build up. So you know, I think most of us probably started with barely anything. So I don't think you need a huge amount of income in the events business. Now, that's the cool thing about event rentals. Like I was considering other rentals, but compared to what construction rentals, one excavator is probably that price. You know, car rentals, one car is, or maybe two cars is probably that price. So I think events for low income people, or maybe not low income, but for people who don't have that much to start off with, or don't want to spend too much at the beginning, I think events is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. So, Carlos, thanks for joining us. And he makes a comment here. I think I wrote the first question on your channel on the video from your garage. Greetings from north of Toronto.
Oh, so, I remember you, Carlos. Yeah.
That's cool. The tent guy says, "Do you have a Patreon?"
Ted guy knows the answer to this question. So, unless he means, Guys, he's trying to promote. He's trying to promote me through this. Maybe I don't know.
That's good. We got a Patreon. Let's let everybody know about it. I mean, other channels here as well have got them. So I mean, we should all definitely support each other. So by all means, where can we find it? Or can you write it down and maybe?
Yeah, it's on my channel and almost all my videos in the description. There's a link Patreon page, and also, yeah, thanks Adam for that. You're cool.
Awesome.
Actually, Adam inspired me a lot because he has 15 years of experience, and he's kind of the main guy that when I started making the videos about events, he's really the first guy with an event business that kind of connected with me, and I actually made more videos because he was making videos, and that drove me, like that competitive nature drove me to also kind of make more videos. So in the end, Adam is king. Check out his channel. Forget about my channel. Check out his channel.
And again, yeah, we got a few more visitors here. Guys, everybody check out everybody else's channels, guys. Please, by all means. Okay, so just quick, getting back to the startup cost. Little Man East 19 says he started with $250.
Yeah.
Joe said he started with one 6-foot folding table for $50. And then when I got to 3 tables I bought, I thought it was badass. Good one, Joe. That's awesome. So that's really, really cool. Fiesta King Rentals. Hello. Thanks for joining us. So Bobby asks, how do you get new customers? And Dave, hang on, Dave also is asking, where do you advertise? So can you answer the 2 questions together there, Les?
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I guess it's kind of a similar question, like related to marketing, advertising. I do have a video about that. I mean, that's not important. There's no video with everything by this point, right? Yeah, go see the video. No. So yeah, with marketing and advertising, I think you start cheap, right? So up here in Canada, we have Kijiji. I think Craigslist is pretty heavy in the States. I think we have like 220 Kijiji ads. Free advertising. We never. I've tried Kijiji once, but they're not as like they don't bring in that much more. So I just have I have several channels, and I make sure each ad is different, and that way they don't get taken off. Although oddly enough, on my previous business they were taken off more, but I think now I just put a different item. So okay, a chair for this one, a table for this item. Tent for this item, and that way like Kijiji has trouble like finding that they're duplicates, even though technically they're duplicate ads.
Right.
We do Facebook ads. I do Google AdWords as well, and that's it. Other than I guess natural SEO, I'm probably missing one. Natural SEO is strong. What else? Joe, how else did we advertise?
That was perfect.
And okay, so yeah.
Les, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so hey, just quickly, Citizen of the Year, thanks for joining us. So yeah, I don't think Kijiji's in the States. I don't think. I've mentioned that to a few of my other buddies before, but Kijiji is just like a classified website that we have up here in Canada.
Yeah. I'm glad you explained that. Yeah, because I think I haven't heard anybody talking about that from my state side. So that that makes sense, which is weird because I think it'd be good for them to expand down there. Like they're quite popular up here.
Yeah, it is very, very popular up here. That's for sure. So Fiesta King Rentals, best way to learn SEO. I'm having a hard time in this subject.
Yeah, so SEO is, I mean, probably all of you know, most of you, engine optimization. So you just want to rank higher in Google. And I think in general, to really get it down general, like, if like naturally, if your website's up for a while, for a long time, if it's full of content, And if it's popular, I mean, that's kind of a dilemma there, but then you'll rank higher. But there's all sorts of things you can do. I'm not the expert on this, but there's all sorts of little things you can do to improve your SEO. I mean, it goes as far as making sure your images are a certain size. They're titled a specific way. There's meta HTML keys in your in your code on your website that you can enter information into. So there's all sorts of things you can do. And SEO these days, again, most of you probably know this, is that there's 1,000 people out there, usually from third world countries, trying to like sell you these packages. And you know how it is. As soon as you have a little business or website, they go crazy after you. You know, they're all horny for a little piece. So
I would definitely recommend outsourcing that for sure. There's a lot of virtual assistant options out there. That's for sure. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you.
Yeah. And so it's hard to find a good. I've had a few people that did SEO for me, but I actually I don't currently. I actually don't have an SEO person, and yeah, I've found it kind of hit and miss. It helps that you're maybe not in a competitive business. It's really tough when you're doing for a cleaning business, and there's probably 1,000 cleaning companies in this city where I'm from, of 1 million people alone. So it was tough. But there's only 10 event rental companies here in this city. So like I'm not too worried about SEO because I end up on the second page anyway, and like I do want to eventually get on the first page. Google AdWords kind of covers a little bit of that, so that if I'm on the first page, well, at least my ad is on the first page. So in the end, I do get enough traffic. I think I do like 45, 50 unique visitors per day, specifically. Last time I checked, which actually it's been a while since I checked, because
That's all right. You're doing great.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not like terrific, and it varies in the seasons.
Yeah. So, Les, Chris Al 49's got a question for you. Do you use a financial advisor to make business decisions?
I have an accountant, and I don't really have a financial advice. You guys are my financial advisors in some way. All these other channels, again, like, but specifically like numbers wise, nitty gritty. Finances, I don't really. I just, I realized, I think maybe a year ago, like really heavily, that saving money is important. It took me a while to get into that mindset, you know, because it's hard to get out of the habit if you're a spender. And
yeah.
And so it took me a while, and the transition maybe took me 3-4 months, but I've gotten way better with saving. And that's, I think that's helped me a lot. And I understand you have to spend money to make money, but yeah, like for the things you don't need, you know, don't spend the money. Oh yeah, Joe's reminding me here. Is huge. We actually do now I remember we do. I have done call outs. They were mildly successful. And also what we do is we brand the tent. So we put like a little sticker on the tent, and these tents are at events. So in a way, that's kind of natural advertising. Every time your tent's out, people see that, hey, this comes from the business. So yeah.
You can name your business. The name of your business is?
It's called The Rental Brothers. I actually started my YouTube channel. It's called Gorothbalion. That's the YouTube channel's name. I started before I was even in events. So there's a bit of a disconnect because the channel is called Gorothbalion, and even my like picture is like us, my brother and I scuba diving, the avatar there. Yeah. So it's not really connected to events, but I'm like, well, I don't know, I'll just keep it like this. But it's not really connected to the business, because, and I feel like the YouTube channel is more of like a vlog. You know, so it's more about me, I guess, and the journey, right, instead of the business. Which I do have a certain. I did recently start a separate channel for the business, but it's really like the videos are kind of just me talking about how to fold a table. It's really bad. Don't subscribe.
All right, so Carlos has got a question for you.
Yeah. Hey, Carlos.
Okay, see, hey, Les, the issues here in Canada is getting tense. I contacted a supplier from China. Do you buy from China?
Yeah, there's a huge issue. Like like when I see everybody down in the States, Adam Lee from Start a Home-Based Event Business, that guy's awesome too. Like, except wait, no, Lee's from Canada, so never mind. A bunch of us Canadians, I'm losing my train of thought, but there's so many manufacturers in the States, and they manufacture all the classic event rental supplies, tables, bar chairs, like everything, tents. They manufacture them. Like here in Canada, we just have overpriced resellers. So there's only like maybe 4 companies. There's National Event Supply out east. There's Special Event Sales here in Alberta. That's the province I'm from, out west, more towards the Western Canada. And so it's very limited. And yeah, so I have that problem. I even contacted guys from the States, and they say, hey, no, we specifically sell through these guys, or they just say no, like we don't. Like I contacted Argo Bags, which has these nice bags for cocktail tables. They're like, no, we don't ship to Canada. And it's like, okay, well, I would pay extra, you know, like I want the stuff, so it's a shame. Yeah. I mean, that's a good business opportunity too, like becoming a seller at some point. Like we're not there yet, and we'll need more funds, but I think that's an opportunity in a way to get into that niche.
Oh, definitely agree with you on that. Gil, thanks a lot for joining us. Les, this is fantastic. I am on question 4.
Okay, no.
More overload. I love it. This is great.
How many questions are there?
On number 4.
How many questions are there?
This is great. Holy crap. So I just don't want to miss anybody here. Everybody's got some great questions and comments. So
we'll do quick. I'll do quick questions because
no, take your time. Take your time. It's fantastic. So
I don't have the time. That's the
what do you attribute to your success? Obviously, you're successful right now. You're doing great by the looks of things. You know, you're totally in control. You got some freedom by the looks of things. What do you attribute to your success?
I'm not. I would argue I'm not successful. I don't feel successful. In fact, even when I am successful, I don't feel like I'm successful enough. Even when I get to a goal, it's completely, that goal is irrelevant. I'm on to the next goal, you know? So I don't feel like I'm successful yet. And there's always, like, I think in business, you're always riding a fine line of success versus failure, because you know, something can go wrong, or there could be, like, you know, sometimes bad things happen in groups. Same in business, you know, you get a group of someone crashes the car, they close down your payment. I've heard this happen on the reviews of these payment systems. You know, they close down your payment processing account, and you're short 10 grand. All of a sudden, your business is gone. Like, there's a business next to here in town that's going under, and it shocks me. I'm like, how can you go under? Like, that's Cody. Joe, you might know of it. It's actually off of it from Airdrie. Cody Party Rentals. Yeah, they're out of business. So, like, it surprises me, but I mean, I don't think you're safe. I mean, you can get a buffer, but I don't think I have a strong enough buffer to call myself successful. And I find that the word success is sometimes you know, it's tough because like people might have success money wise, but they have problems in the bedroom. You know, it's an interesting. I think you gotta ride it and try to be happy and try to have fun. You know, at work. And maybe even if you fail, because inevitably you will fail if you're getting into business for the first time, or maybe not inevitably, but there's a high chance that you'll fail. And I mean, even look at all the big companies, Elon Musk, you know, Tesla, and so the companies that he has, like such a big figure, such a big hotshot. I mean, these companies half the time they're not profitable, and if you read his biography, like he's always on the brink of bankruptcy. So that's just one example. So I think these success. Same with Jack Ma. I read his biography, and same thing. He's like half the time he gets funding, and then they run out of money. He gets funding again. So success is interesting. I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, variety of definitions, right? So Joe says at the beginning, getting back to how you guys, I guess it was started, you know, you guys would also in person get a commitment from your customers to like your Facebook page, and then got some exposure from that one too, right? So friends of our customers would say they liked our page and whatnot. So you made that connection with everybody, with your network. Very smart move. Very smart move.
Events is easy to market in the sense that you know, everybody has birthday parties, everybody has anniversaries. So you could just talk to your friends and boom, you know, you have a little bit of business right off the bat.
Yeah. Bat. Right. Okay. Hello, man. East 19 says Eureka Tent ships to Canada out of upstate New York. There you go.
Yeah, I'm writing this down. I think I've heard of Eureka. Sometimes you see these websites and they're fine, but then the price point is just way too high, right? But I will check them out. Eureka Tents. I actually was looking at another tent company the other day, and there are others like Warner Tent Shelf Systems, Sprung Canada. Sprung is in the States as well, but their prices are just too high to compete with kind of like the base special event sales and national event supply, and those are specifically for tents. But like there's a bit of a problem with like chairs. What about the chairs and tables? It's like if any of you know, definitely let me know. I'll write this down right now. I'm learning too, so
absolutely. Both, yeah, we're all learning, right? That's why we're all learning, networking together to learn and to make life a little bit easier. So Joe says Cody Party Rentals was the rental company in the small community. 70,000 people. Holy mackerel! 50 minutes north of Calgary. Wow.
Yeah, now they're gone, and they actually contacted me if I wanted to buy their inventory. But yeah, so one thing I noticed with Cody is they didn't have. So somewhere along the line, they had some issues, and that might have killed them because obviously they had the worst reviews out of like this region, and so I mean I'm thinking that might have been the issue.
Yeah, interesting. Fiesta King Rentals. We use ERS online booking system.
Okay, let me check that
down. Write it down.
yeah, I'm writing all this stuff down. ERS booking system.
All right, Stuart A. Home based event business event rental says, how much do you spend per month on average on new inventory?
Probably $5,000 a month, I would say.
That's great.
Yeah. A huge amount of money goes there. Yeah.
So having said that, how much longer do you suspect are you going to run out of physical space and you're going to have to move to a larger unit?
Real estate, as people know, commercial real estate leases are expensive. So I plan on, like, if I can expand as fast as my imagination can expand, which won't happen, but I plan on taking over the whole building. There's like 5 different units here, so I'll slowly drive those other units out as we expand.
What's your plan for that?
But it's a really good spot in town because it's kind of central, and the prices aren't really high in this area. I mean, they're still high, but The other thing is commercial leases are typically a minimum. Real commercial leases are typically a minimum of like around 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
We have a 5-year lease here, so we'll be here at least. We moved April 2018, so whatever that is, 3.5 more years of for sure here.
Got it. Got it. So Dave at Hidden Freedom Investing is asking, what type of bad reviews to Table Didn't Work is described, or was it customer service related? Probably for Cody.
Definitely customer service related. Like, oh, the checkout person wasn't nice. So yeah, if you're hiring people, if you're not doing it yourself, because you can control that when you're doing it yourself. But if you're hiring people, I think if you have a problem with your business, we have lots of problems, like lots of problems. Like whatever those, I can't even think of any right now, but things go wrong, things are imperfect. Oh, we don't have the right shade of red for your tablecloth. But if you're nice to them, that will make up for that problem. So I think being nice, having good customer service, being nice, aka good customer service, same thing, goes a long way and even covers up some of the holes in your business. And yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like that little hidden positive attribute towards your company, towards your business, is great customer service. Like it really goes on, and you don't even realize it sometimes. Right. And then, you know, people, they keep coming back for a reason, right? It's quality, service, or price. But, you know, if you got great customer service and people are well looked after and you're fast, I always say fast service is great service, and you're fast getting back to clients, are looking after them, and you're knowledgeable. I mean, that customer service can go such a long way.
So, yeah, huge. I think it's the most important, and you can control it. So yeah, if you're mean by nature, and sometimes I'm competitive by nature, right? So I can come off as, you know, I mean, whatever, you know, I can come off as cocky sometimes. Even though I can't back up that cockiness half the time. Like in sports, you know, like I try to be like, but I can't back it up, like, you know, inabilities. But so I think if you are,
you're awesome.
You know, if you're aggressive by nature, or if you're cocky, mean by nature, definitely don't be with your customers. I mean, the customers are paying you. So you gotta suck it up. I mean, if the customer is like that, you gotta suck it up. You gotta be professional, which means you know, like I know, you know, to a point, there's always a line somewhere. If they come with a gun and try to take your money, you can't be nice. But you gotta be as nice as you can. And trust me, like that's never failed me. Like it's never backfired being nice. So there's no.
Yeah. It's never been a negative issue caused because you're being nice and you're just being genuine and whatnot to a person. Never.
Now that being said, you want to be strict. You want to be strict.
Yeah.
And you can say, oh well, that you can't do both, but you can be strict. And by strict is like have a good contract, make sure they sign it, and tell them like if there's a $50 fee. And if you tell them, if it's in writing, if they have signed it, if it's on the website, I mean, they're going to be cool with that. But you can still be nice. You know, you can still have good customer service, but you want to be strict. Otherwise, people will take advantage of you. And I'm still working on the strict part. Sometimes when we're busy, you know, you're just like throwing out your items, take it. And then you miss that strict part. But you want to be, you do really want to be strict, but nice at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Good point. Joe says, what about delivery time? What do you do if customers want things delivered at a certain time, but they're really busy, but you're really busy, sorry.
Yeah, so again, that kind of goes with strict. As we've grown from home to not home, I think we started like saying, oh, 2 hour, we'll be there at 2 o'clock or around 2 o'clock. But now we have a delivery. It definitely helps. And clients understand that. So we have a plus minus 1 hour delivery window. And one of our biggest competitors here in town has a 6 hour delivery window. So we're definitely beating them in that regard, which kind of applies to customer service. Yeah, like that's tough sometimes. We also say if we're really busy, we might extend that delivery window or ask, hey, are you flexible? Or hey, can we deliver the day before or 2 days before if we're setting up or something like that? And usually they're cool with that if it's not like a specific venue or something.
Yeah, smart strategy. Fiesta King Rentals, we started sending thank you cards to customers a few days after their events, and we have received a wonderful response from our customers for that. Our Yelp reviews have doubled in the last 3 months. Wow, that's amazing. Good for you guys. From thank you card, that's great.
Fiesta. We send thank you emails, but I don't think it's good enough. I realize like I don't get too many responses. I think I think the cards will be better. I realize it is a lot of work to send those. Like you gotta go out, find them or whatever. But I think it's worth it.
It's so worth it. So hey, funny enough, seriously, I came across a big box of hundreds of old Christmas cards the other day. And I was going to chuck them. I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to keep them, and I'm going to start writing them now with my staff for sending them out to clients, and we'll release them December 1st. And we're all and write them on the outside of the envelope, the inside of the card, everything for this Christmas, because so many people nowadays just send off an e-card or whatever, right?
Right.
We're actually going to do a handwritten to all of our clients this year. It's going to take a month to do, but it goes such a long way. It really does. So. Yeah, guys, use that. It really, like, that connection does really work. So Ryan says, hey, great idea as well. Fire. Joe, by inventory. I meant rental inventory, not the balloons and napkins and forks they sold. So do you guys do balloons as well?
Not really. We have some disposables. So people want, like they're kind of in the background, some of them on show. So there's some forks and, I don't know, cups and forks, you know, those party cups, the red ones like everybody has, but we're just continuing that because but we're going to discontinue that. It's not epically popular and it just adds so much more like tracking and work around those like small items. And also it's plastic, right? So it's plastic, styrofoam. So we want to start getting into environmentally friendly. Like I'm a business guy, I'm about money, but I think like now Canada is going to be banning that stuff. So
slowly, yeah. So I heard that too.
Out of that, you know? Yeah.
Slowly. So yes, the King Rentals, we have an on-time delivery fee or after-hour sensitive pickup time from $150 to $250.
We do the exact same thing. If it's after hours, if it's on Sunday, if it's beyond the city limits, all that stuff is extra. And you need that there because you think, oh, you know, this company's like hosing me with all this stuff. But honestly, like it's gonna kill you if you don't get if you don't get money back for that stuff because it's killing your time, your gas, and your employees don't want to be working on holidays and Sundays. And if they are, you know, they're expected to be paid for that in some way, you know. So yeah, definitely charge extra for stuff like that.
Definitely. Dave, Hidden Freedom asking, Les, can you see that?
Yeah. You have to turn away because you don't have the items because they are currently rented out. So we're a little
good question.
That's a good question. And it's actually quite a bit. And so that's the challenging part is, do you get all these items and have like a plethora of different items? Or do you really streamline and you know, work efficiently? I was actually talking to this guy in Vancouver that like he literally has his delivery trucks set up where everything fits in perfectly. So everything is like boom, boom, boom fast. And all of a sudden, if you have all these different items, like, you know, you're slowed down. It takes more time. You got to find like parts for these items when they break. So I think the real answer, I mean, I'm going into like deeper parts of this question, but balance is the answer. You got to choose. You want to really streamline it, or do you want to like satisfy everyone and rent out the meat cutter, because I had these questions like, do you have a meat slicer? And it's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense to rent out, but like I've only been asked that once. It's like $1,000 to buy, and what am I going to rent it out for? You know, like, am I going to ever make $1,000 back? Like, so yeah. It's an interesting thing. We actually turn away a lot of clients because actually a lot of people call for like really random stuff. I'd probably say like 30, 40%, maybe 30% of clients we turn away. And there's a lot of weird like questions out there. And we're pretty streamlined. We're towards the streamlined side, mostly because we kind of recently started and we're still building that inventory.
Yeah, definitely. I guess what obviously the popularity of what the products are is that you're renting is going to direct you in the course of what you're going to purchase, obviously, in the growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, all right. So you have a question. I sent out emails asking for a review. Is that bad? What's your question? Answer on that one, Les.
It's only good if you know the client was happy.
Absolutely. But is it bad to actually ask for the review? What do you think?
It depends how you ask it. I think if it's kind of demanding, it's not good. But if near the bottom is like, we really appreciate reviews, and you have a link, then that's completely fine.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with our staff asking for Google reviews for ETP, and when we do it, it works. So, I mean, and clients are very happy to give it too. Right. So,
and we actually don't. And it's something that I keep meaning to do. And I just haven't got around to it, but thanks for the reminder, Lee.
Yeah, write that down. Les, write that down if you need to.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I was kidding.
People, right? So,
all right. Tents and rental events and events rental. How many employees do you use? Do you have customer pickups? And does someone man your shop full time? Great questions.
During the winter time, I currently have one employee. The winter time, as in the off season, we have one part-time guy, so it's fairly dead around here. Although I have a couple people I can use when we do. We are still booked for a couple tent setups, like bigger tent setups, and we're using 3 people. Like they're not as big as yours because this guy actually has way bigger, like large tents. We only have small tents, 20 by 20 and 20 by 40. And then sometimes they're kind of modular, so you can put a few together. But I know this guy here has like pretty massive tents. And so he needs way more people. Yeah, we don't need as many. And we do have real business hours where someone has to be here. So actually, I man the place most of the time because like I kind of in the off season. And then I have my part-time guy, Gilbert, drive around doing like the micro deliveries here and there. Usually they're small, like 30 tables or we did some like 80 wine glasses with some water goblets to CIBC, which is the bank or whatever here, just to a branch party they were having. So he does like little deliveries during the off season. On season is a bit different. Off season is a bit different. And then most of the big tent setups, we kind of try to do, like I try to be there during the summertime. I try to be there for those because it's kind of complicated. Joe worked for me this summer, which was fantastic because he knew what he was doing. He's in the stream there. And it was helpful because we had him, and he could drive the bigger trailers and stuff like that. So we had him working kind of as the foreman. And I think top of the time we had like 4 guys, me and 4 guys working at the really sort of busy events. But we kind of try to spread it out. I'm learning that for the bigger events or bigger tents or weddings and stuff like that, especially tent related, I try to set them up earlier in the week so we don't have to rush them. So even like 3 days before, and usually the client's kind of happy because they're like, hey, we can actually decorate this tent now. Like we don't have to rush for it. And so I'm learning that as I go. Because I noticed Adam from Tents and Events, he pretty much sets up tents like throughout the week. And we were kind of doing it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then taking down either Sunday night or Monday. But I'm learning that try to actually do it earlier in the week if possible.
Good. Smart setup. Ryan's saying he has several party rental companies as clients. So he's down in south of Florida. They put in commercial dish machines because they rent glasses, plates, flatware, etc. Is that something you want to grow into as well?
Yeah, just get into that this year, and it's an animal on, it's a beast unto itself, and so I'm in that learning curve right now, and I'm actually looking for commercial dishwashing systems right now because I realized doing it at home in my own dishwasher is a no-go. Well, that's the number one. And I know Lee from Start a Home-Based Event Business. He was doing it from he does bartending there, and on the side, and he kind of rents out his bar and some party stuff. But he only has like maybe 40, 50 dishes, so it's doable. But I realized as soon as you have like 120, 160, 180, I'm like, holy moly, this takes forever. So yeah.
All right, so Joe's got an update here for you. There he goes. I meant Cody Party Rental went out of business, I think, because they had too much of their space to the forks and stuff and not enough space on their money-making rental items. Your showroom's a lot smaller, so that works a lot smarter.
So, have you been there before? We'll wait for his response. Joe here, the commenter, because he's I'm wondering if he was there at Cody Party Rentals.
Maybe. I'm trying to make it down to all the comments. You got so many comments waiting in line here for you. Dave's asking if you have a party and they need 125 chairs, but you only have 100, then what do you do?
Oh, yeah, and I think you had a question like this before. You sub-rent, essentially. Now, you're kind of screwed if you don't have if you have a unique item that no one else has. Now, having a unique item is nice, but then you can't kind of because sub-renting is actually quite common. I know a lot of us event rental guys, we sub-rent from places. So if we're short 30, if we're short 20 and we can't buy them, we can't afford to, they're not available, another party place. And the key is try to do that ahead of time so you're not stressing balls, the night before or something. So, but yeah, that's quite common. We sub-rent a lot of our stuff, especially in the growing stages. We sub-rent quite a bit, thousands of dollars a month to like 3-4 companies in the area. And most of us carry the same kind of base items, so it works out. And they sub-rent from us too, so it does balance out in the end.
Yeah. So basically here, most of the time weddings are 6-month advance. So you can probably prepare for all this as well then, right, Les?
Oh, for weddings, yeah. For festivals, they tend to book like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks for a festival. And then a lot of them too, like they have like a big event and it's like they're booking 3 days in advance. And it's like, you're an idiot, but we had one big a day in advance, and it was like a $10,000 festival, and like they didn't even pay us. It is a long story. I think I have a brief video about it, but they actually ended up like skipping out on like 15% of their bill, so which is so stupid because like it's like a 1 day in advance thing. So yeah, anyways, long story, but that happens.
I'll bet. Oh, wait. Yeah. Well, and here's the point. Yeah, Carlos is saying I don't own any tents, and I have to sub them and rent them in order to save money now. And next year I'm looking to buy tents, right? So hook up with Carlos. Yeah. So I had to sub rent them in order to save money. Now for next year I'm looking. Yeah. So exactly. The next step is to buy them. And interesting. That's when you're going to start making the real money. Is when you actually have the product. I mean, it helps. So yeah, I'm glad you are gonna start buying those. Pop-up tents aren't too bad in terms of price. The marquee ones, though, they get in the pole tents, wall tents. They start getting to the thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars. So it's understandable that people sub-rent stuff. The other option is to team up with another company and see if they can do the tent. That makes Yeah, definitely. That makes the most sense. Team up with another company. We buy inventory as needed. Not set aside a certain amount of money per month or year just as needed to get the job. So so we do a lot of as needed too. Like we can kind of predict at this point, based on how the calls were, what we were short last year, if we were short. So
And so we if there's a deal, we try to buy it if we're not poor. But otherwise, definitely, like it's a lot. A lot is like as needed. We also try to like we even rent things out before we even have them, and then we go and buy them if there's enough time between the between. Otherwise, you're in a bit of a problem. And we've always made that work. So barely, sometimes barely, but we've always made that work.
Gil, thanks a lot for the compliments. They're a great live stream. Always fun. Always fun with our team and our group here, guys. Thanks so much. And Ryan saying he can get you a commercial.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Ryan,
beautiful.
Can get me anything. You need something, I can get it. Where are you from, Ryan? I think I asked you this before. Where are you out of?
South Florida.
South Florida. That's too far away. The profit margins, I gotta find something cheap locally. I'm thinking like the cheapest possible, and just Jimmy rig it in the corner. Jam it in there and just have it run. The first year, anyways. The other option is I saw some leasing where you can lease them, so I'm looking into that as well.
Yo, that's an idea. Absolutely, that was a great idea. Victor, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Thank you.
We last live stream actually with you right there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Randy Hamilton says, "Hey, Les, how's it going?"
Yeah,
he said hi, Les.
Yeah, we've been Facebooking. I rarely Facebook message on my through my I don't know. And so, but Randy, like we've been Facebook messaging like different pictures of stuff. He showed me his trailer the other day, how he has it set up. Like I'm so impressed with all these other people there. All of you are pretty much better than me. So like don't even worry about it. You guys are doing great. If you're in the event business anyway.
Keep up the great work, right? So, okay, so hang on. Where are we? So Ryan, maybe he can help you out.
Okay, Ryan, send me your info then. Go to oh, man. These guys are all fishing for good business opportunities here,
It's all about helping one another, right? That's how we
which is not a problem. Which is not a problem,
That's why we're here, is to help one another. Absolutely. So, Victor, welcome. Vegan Fit, welcome. Great live. Thanks a lot. Well, Dave's saying, "Hey, man, you're right. You're miles and miles away." So, but you know what? You can ship anything anywhere nowadays. So why not? Okay, let me get to my let me get to my fifth question. Now we're into this. I'll be at we'll be here till 3 in the morning, which is fine.
No.
Oh, here comes Joe. Here comes Joe. Hang on, Joe's coming in. There's Joe. No, put a timeout on my next question. Oh, my jaw's sore again. Ow, I'm laughing.
Oh, okay. To answer the question, like how do you move your stuff? Okay, so cargo van, truck and trailer, and for the bigger stuff, we rent cube trucks, cube vans, whatever you want to call them. Recently, we started exclusively, and this is a tip that I wish I knew before. It's a bit more expensive, but if you're moving big, it's a lifesaver. But recently, we started getting trucks with tailgates, with power tailgates. That certainly makes life easier, especially when you're moving those big weights and stuff like that. So yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. And Ryan's coming back to help.
Questions are. I'm doing fast answers because apparently we're barely into this live stream. So.
Don't worry about it. If people need to go, they'll go. You and I can keep talking. I mean, I'm 2 hours ahead of you. So, I mean, you got a bit more. You got a bit more free time, I think, than I do tonight. So, hey, but I'm okay. If you're okay, I'm okay.
I'm kind of okay.
We're okay. So, Ryan's going to help you out here.
I have a national offering. Let me at least make sure you get into a solid brand. A lot of garbage out there. Okay, but right. Email. I think just send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you my email. Or others. That's my business. So look it up on Google and send me an email, and I'll look into it for sure.
Beautiful. Thanks, Ryan. And Chris is asking, are there any party rental expos or conventions out there?
Definitely. And like I'm always tied up with such a long to-do list. when I had my cleaning company, I did a few of these expos, and I didn't realize. I thought it was just gonna be like a run in there and do the expo, but I didn't realize it's a lot of work. So for the good ones, it gets a little bit expensive. I think we spent like it's around $2,000 per expo, so it's a bit expensive, but the exposure is decent, and I would probably recommend it. And I need to do a few for sure, but sometimes we just don't get around to it. You got to prep for it. I mean, if you want to have a good expo, prep for the expo. So definitely, you got to put time into it, and but I'd recommend that for sure.
All right, next, my fifth question for you is this. I gotta squeeze this in really fast. What motivates you?
Oh yeah, I've heard of this question. How many questions are there? I need to know.
I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. I can't tell you. Actually, I can't tell you.
I should have watched the I think I watched
the other stream earlier. So, Les, what motivates you as an entrepreneur? What motivates?
Yeah, and I've heard some of your answers too. I think Ryan said freedom on his, because I was listening to his when he was on. I think that was his. Maybe that was someone else. What motivates me? Yeah, like I have a good answer.
Good.
I don't need motivation. I don't even think about it. I just do it. I know there's people that kind of, and that's fine. I mean, whatever your sauce, I'm cool with it. But for me, I've just been able to do it. I guess technically, money motivates me, freedom motivates me, meeting people motivates me, but I don't really have a problem with getting motivated. Sometimes I'm lazy, I get out of bed slowly and stuff like that. But I'm able to self-motivate just naturally. And that took me a while to do. I think what helped is getting out of the bed early helps. Stuff like that. I know it sounds weird, but
okay, what time do you get out of bed at? What time do you wake up at and get up?
Oh, probably 6:37. So not crazy times, but it's kind of consistent. Consistently get up at that time helps me kind of not have trouble fresh, and I start my day, and I hit the books, I guess, hit the business.
So give me a quick example. What's your rituals in the morning? What do you do?
Yeah, I got kids, right? So pretty much driving the kids depends on the day, but picking up the kids, driving the kids, extracurricular activities, and then cramming in as much business around that. So during the day, they're at school or at after school daycare or at their grandparents. So I'm able to work. I'm definitely able to work full time. They're not around me. But before the day starts, the official day, it's oriented around kids, and the day ends around kids. So and that's cool. But there's not that much partying, or I don't know what some people envision, but so it's just try family time, right?
So how many hours
and then
absolutely yeah how many hours a week do you dedicate to your business?
Oh, by the way, I didn't answer that in a specific way, so Fiesta King is answering that in a specific way. Those are the exact shows. There's some really big shows in the States. They're massive. So anyways, what was the question?
Good question. Sorry. How many hours a week do you dedicate to your business?
Maybe I would say
on average.
12, 13 a day, maybe 14. So, and maybe Sunday there's 4. I do a lot of, after the kids go to bed, I do jump on the computer. I do at least 2 hours of research, YouTube stuff, just looking into other people's stuff. So maybe, and I try in the off season, I try to put in as much work as in the on season, because it's easy to get into that. In the off season, it's easy to kind of get lazy. So I try to keep that energy and that pressure high on myself.
Yeah. How long is your off season for, month to month?
Yeah, up in here in Canada, as you know, it's fairly long. I would say it really starts maybe October 15th until April 15th.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, heavy off season. I mean, there's still business in the off season, and like okay business sometimes. It's Christmas, there's New Year's, there's Easter, but there are days where it's fairly slow, and it can be scary, obviously, if you're not kind of mentally or financially prepared for it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So who helps run your business then? Like who does your bookkeeping? You said earlier, I think you have an accountant that does, your year ends and whatnot, but who looks after your, and you do have one employee minimum during your office, but who looks after your admin work and your bookkeeping, all that sort of stuff? Do you have a small team for that?
There's this girl that works here with us sometimes. Technically there's three people, employees on the books right now. One really, but there's a guy that helps us out on really busy weekends, or if the other guy can't help out. And also there's this girl that comes in and does a little bit of essentially bookkeeping stuff.
Right.
I do the rest, and I fill in all the gaps in between. The accountant just does the general liability taxes and payroll.
Yeah, and payroll. Good. Right. You ever plan upon retiring?
No, I don't know what that means. I remember being young and my dad said that. He's like, I'm never gonna retire. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm there, but where he was, right? So I don't, because the whole point about I think the whole point of maybe getting into business is that you're kind of doing what you like, and you're kind of free in a way. Like we talked about this earlier, but I think if you're by that time, hopefully, I kind of have most of the grease, but the cracks kind of filled, and things are maybe running a bit smoothly, and maybe ideally I would like to be doing the things that are more enjoyable, and either outsourcing or having employees do the major work, and maybe having a manager here. And I think Adam was talking about this. He wants to drive around and collect checks to all his venues and different franchises and stuff, and different so that would obviously be ideal. It doesn't that way, but I don't really want to legitimately retire, because I feel sometimes people retire and it just slows down, and then I don't know, what, they're just golfing all day. I don't know.
I know. I mean, yeah, going off to do something that you love doing, but I think you sound like you love doing what you're doing, right? And so what's retirement really, right? So just want to say hi to Frank for joining us. Thank you very much.
Hey, Frank.
And Moreno's jump. Hey, what's up, man? Finally finished the high peak tents.
Nice. Yeah.
Excellent. And Martin extraordinaire, Mr. Dumpster.
Yeah, I got his channel too. Yeah, Martin. Yeah.
Good. And you jumped on his channel, right?
Yeah. I think I'm subscribed to him. I'm pretty sure. I'm 98% sure I'm subbed to Martin there.
Glad. Thanks a lot for joining. Must be a late night in Columbus, Ohio. So, Chris, got a question for you. Are there any certifications or organizations to join? To show your customers that we know what we're doing. Oh, that's a good one. And we're serious about what we do. Really good questions, Chris.
Yeah, we're kind of smaller. I have noticed the bigger companies are certified under various different companies, different places, under different kind of brands of certification. Right. I really haven't had a client ask, "Hey, are you certified?" Like perhaps in a mechanic shop might be asked for. I'm not sure. I haven't had a mechanic shop, but I know in different businesses, maybe like food vendors, you definitely maybe want to do that. But we aren't. And obviously we have business licenses, and we're registered, we're bonded, we have insurance. but I haven't really joined any organizations yet. I'm more of the type of guy that would start my own organization. Now, that will happen years, but I'm not really the joiner. I'm like the creator.
Yeah.
That's kind of my style. And like right now, I mentioned it. I don't know if you were there for that, but I'm kind of penny pinching, and I know sometimes these organizations, you know, you got to pay them, which is fair. I understand, but there's only so many places I can throw out funds.
Okay, Carlos, you're right. Canadians don't plan on retiring. We don't retire.
Yeah, the other day, Lee from Home Based Business. I don't know if he's still on here, but I think he also has kids, so he might be off putting them to bed or something. But I'm missing that, by the way, for this. But anyway,
thank you again for your time. And if you got to go, just let us know.
Not yet. Yeah. But it depends how many times my wife calls. But so I told her that I'll be working late, but okay. But
okay, we'll answer your questions quickly then. How do you plan upon growing your business? What's the bigger plan? What's the bigger picture in your plan for growing?
Yeah, getting more inventory. I think I was thinking of some sort of franchise model. Now, someone asked about a 5-year plan, and I think we never really got to that, but or it was like more of a joke answer type thing. But I think that's more of a 10-year plan, maybe the franchise thing. And I don't quite know. I went to a couple of like franchise shows, and I've been like looking and seeing what other people are doing. I don't know if that's the best option, or having multi locations under the same kind of umbrella. But I know sometimes with the franchise owners, like they have a lot of passion, each owner. While if you're managing a few locations, you might not get the same amount of like passion or care from the other kind of branches. So maybe like a combination. I definitely, before I ever franchise, it'd be cool to have a second location just to see if it's not like I was thinking maybe people will be like, it's tight. This business is tight. This ship is tight. But can your second ship be tight? You know, when you make your because you can have a ship, but can you have an what is it? Armada? No, not armada. What happens when you have multiple ships? There's a word for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, anyway, it's a naval term or something. Yeah. Armada, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's bad. Like referencing this to naval military is probably not the best idea here, but yeah, getting more inventory, and then I guess the only natural way would be to either diverge. The cool thing about events, it's kind of modular, so you can have like a photo booth business. Module. You can have a like a larger tent module. You can have a sales module. You can even do like interesting things like event insurance. So I think there's a lot of branch out both vertically and horizontally. So it's kind of there's a lot of opportunity. And right now we're kind of still developing this one location, this one ship. And beyond there's going to be a lot of options, and even YouTube, we're kind of growing through that because it's connecting us to so many other businesses.
Yeah, definitely. Quickly, everybody that's still here, please, if you guys could, share this stream, that'd be great. Please hit that share button when you guys get a quick minute. That'd be amazing. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. What is do you think was your biggest failure, biggest mistake that you made creating this company?
Oh, okay. Creating this company. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, actually, like it's always interesting to get questions from the negative end. I think maybe what was my biggest mistake? One of my employees hitting my bumper. I guess that was. And of course, it was. Sorry.
What was the answer?
It wasn't Joe though. Joe's living.
Oh. Sorry, I missed it.
But,
sorry.
Bumper. But one of my employees he hit the trailer he was towing. So both the trailer was damaged and the truck was damaged, so that was a heavy cost. Oh, and then not recording mileage because we're getting partially audited right now for mileage, and I'm just making up all these mileage logs. So for all of you who are like not recording your mileage properly, record your mileage because it's gonna come back to bite you. Everything else is perfect in this business in terms of like accounting, except for mileage. That's the one thing. And guess what? We're getting audited for mileage. So
figures. Figures.
Yeah. Not really like super
awesome.
specific, actually. Yeah, not like the failure is like not really anything extraordinary specific. Like I think we've been quite lucky. A lot of the clients have been nice, and we haven't really had like really major issues. Yeah, and just learning little things here and there. There's gonna be mistakes, but
definitely. So Ryan's saying he helps a buddy with photo booths on the weekend to make extra cash.
Yeah, so I think now I've been talking to a guy about photo booths that are like auto photo booths that are unmanned. And I think that's something that's going to be super interesting to, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to actually be making a photo booth. It might take me a month or two to do. So I'll definitely do a video of that.
Yeah, definitely. Keep everybody updated on that. All right. So I have a big question. Sorry, I have a question. How far do you go for an event, and how do you charge if you have to go like 2 or 3 hours? Good question.
Oh yeah, how far do you go to do an event? Yeah, so actually we've gone to like maybe an hour and a half out of town. Oh no, we've been like 2.5 hours, 3 hours out of town. So, but we charge accordingly. I think for the 2.5 hour drive, we charge like $700, something like that. That's not times 2. And the reason for that is you're driving 250 kilometers, driving back 250 kilometers.
Yeah.
And then you're doing that again for the pickup. So that's 1,000 kilometers of driving with, a team of guys. That in itself takes time. So it's super expensive. So charge accordingly. Like whatever you think you're charging, you're probably undercharging. Actually, Y Combinator, the YouTube channel, has a great video on costs. And actually to summarize that video, he basically says like charge as much as possible until you really start losing significant amount of clients. But watch that video, Y Combinator. They really get technical and they show quantitative data. It's not just like random information. They really get into the numbers and show graphs, so you can really learn a lot. And in the end, basically, you learn, hey, you got to charge more, especially if you're charging less than your competition. There's a reason why they're charging that amount. And it's because the cost, there's so many hidden costs. Like even when you're driving, like the mileage,
the wear and tear,
and just the people and like the risk. Like once you hit someone, obviously you have insurance, but just if that happens, you lose a lot of time in dealing with that. So there's always a lot of risk.
Definitely. Ryan's asking you specifically, Les, what is a kilometer?
yeah. Up in Canada, right?
Let's see if anybody here can answer it.
Hey, you guys,
see what the answer is.
So it's 1,000 meters. So it's 1,000 yards, basically, right? Yeah.
Probably related to a mile. It's 0.6 of a mile, isn't it?
Exactly, 0.6 something, or almost exactly 0.6, I think it is. Yeah.
Of a mile. So, all right. So, what makes your company unique?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
I asked it.
Yeah. Again, that's crazy because like sometimes it takes me a while to really think of things. And I want to make, because it's hard. It's hard to be a bit unique in the business. Like we don't have, there's a cool company here in this area. I think they're in the States too. It's called like Men in Kilts. And they go around, doing like window washing and kilts.
Yeah,
you probably heard of it.
Yeah, Toronto a while ago too.
Right, and like that's fairly popular. Like it's shocking that it works. For me, it's shocking. I guess all the ladies, I don't know, but so for us, I wanted to have a quicker booking system. I noticed when I called other companies, it's like, okay, please stay on hold. They get you to the right department. Then they have such a long inventory list and system that it takes time to actually get your product. then they send you like a signature thing you have to sign on the through the computer, right? You type it out, but it's like a signature thing. You send it back to them. It's a really lengthy, complicated process. So I was like, you know what? I want to book as fast as possible. I don't, and people like these days, it's all about instant gratification. Us millennials are used to all these quick apps and stuff like that, and we're going to grow up soon. We're going to have money soon. So I think having like a quick system puts you at an advantage. And then what we try to do is be better in as many categories as possible. And we're working on that. So we're a bit cheaper because I mean we're smaller and newer, so we're able to be a little. We have better delivery times in sense of delivery timing, and you know we're a bit more personable because we're smaller. But I think the real key is I want to have a quick, easy booking process. Eventually, implement some sort of app. But I know app development can be kind of crazy, and that's more towards the fourth, fifth year, I would say, from this point on.
Good, good. So give me a couple of your company goals.
Company goals. Start a second location. I don't know how. I don't know if it's a franchise. I don't know like how. But I would love to have another because I figured, and I think I actually, yeah, my brother asked me this the other day. It's like, what do you want? You know, but I actually want I don't want to be a mom and pop shop. I want to be bigger, and I don't really have a specific reason. I just think like if you're going to do something, why not trust and biggest as possible, right? I mean, if you're playing sports, you want to be the best. If you're a race car driver, you want to be the fastest. And I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you want to be the biggest. So like I want to be big. Like I don't truly think I'll ever be the biggest. But I definitely want to have like I want to say like, oh, I have a big company. I have a company, you know, because people use that word company a lot. But if they could be, you know, like a guy in his basement just like typing away, which is fine. But I want to be like a real company. I want to have 3 digits of employees. So I would love to have 100 more employees. I mean, that's crazy. That goes years and years away, decades away, I would say. But for some reason, I would love that.
Good goals. Good goals. Jason, thanks for joining us. Jason's got a question for you.
Yes. Index funds. Okay. I learned really quickly that pure stocks, I'm not good with pure stocks. I think I'm down like 28% or something with a lifetime. Like, mind you, I've never lost money. I've only lost opportunity cost because I've never sold at a loss. But still, like I've pretty much lost based on the 28% down. But my index funds are really good. I'm starting to really put in more money into index funds rather than pure stocks, which yeah, no good. Index funds, great. And for those who don't know, I think a lot of you probably know this, but and in the States it's a bit different, but those are like how do I explain them? But they're just like the funds. They're really low, like cheap commission costs, and they pretty much take a chunk of the stable market. So and some of them are bond heavy, and so they're more stable and predictable and have a positive rate of return, unlike pure stocks.
Great answer. Great answer. Now you got another question.
I'm on that question. Please don't listen.
Yeah, great. For someone else, for someone starting out, what do you recommend to them? Oh, sorry. Do you recommend to work for an event rental company too?
Yeah, like I actually did like junk removal when I was 16 with 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And then even though that we sign a non-compete, I mean, they can't enforce that stuff, you know, until you get big. Maybe then they can like enforce it. But, you know, they don't even know that you exist. But I started my own afterwards. And yeah, like it was complete. Like that's probably the best way, the fastest way to learn is go out and do it and work for another company. Like, I mean, you're seeing everything, the process in action. So 100%.
Definitely. Okay, next question for you. How far away are you from the second location?
Yeah, that's a good point. The goal itself doesn't have a parameter, so it doesn't matter if it's next door. But that's a good question, because if it's too close, then you're losing jobs to one another. If it's too far, you can't share inventory. So that's a really good question. I think it'll be more of an opportunity thing. So like, if there's a cheap lease here or something like that, or you know someone, like someone's working for you is like really good, and you're like, Billy, go and start a second location. Let's grow this thing. We have the money. It's the right time. But that's a good question, and there's no right answer. As you probably know, there's no real answer to that. I think it's again, it's like a balance thing. It can't be too far, it can't be too close. But I think in the end, I wouldn't mind it being in a different city. Fortunately,
Really?
we won't be able to share too much inventory. Yeah, that way we don't compete with ourselves.
Yeah, good point. Really good point. Would Edmonton be too far away for you?
I think Edmonton would be perfect. That's
Yeah,
what
2 hours.
Yeah. 3 hours, about 3 hours away north of us. Yeah. So in like, if things get wild, you can still do a nighttime drive over, you know, to reinforce one of the locations.
Definitely help them out by all means.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So if you could give one bit of advice to anybody starting out new in the industry, apart from working for the competition, what would it be?
Don't do it. Don't compete with us. We don't want
You don't need any more competition.
No, I'm just kidding. So piece of advice is yeah, I actually no, I can't specifically think of anything. But definitely do your due diligence, you know, get educated, research everything. Make sure you kind of like that. If you can work for another company, that guy had a good point. I forget who it was, but if you can work for another company and see if you kind of like it, because at the beginning, especially with low funds, you'll end up doing a lot of the work. And sometimes people get disenchanted, you know, they start doing long nights, weekends are ruined. And I know I talked to a bunch of people that were doing event rentals. One went out of business in Cochrane, and they went out of business because they said their whole weekend was shot. Like they didn't have any family time. The wife was mad all the time, and the weekend was just completely ruined. So they decided to stop doing it. So just, you know, keep that in mind. And it's going to take lots of lifting. Oh, one piece of advice. I got it.
What?
Lift with your knees.
Not your back.
Yeah, 100%. In event rental, you're like, you gotta, yeah. Or don't lift at all if you can manage it. Your back will be destroyed.
Hey, get a dollar. Camper Life, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hang on. Get back to, I think Ryan posted a new video today. So if everybody gets a chance, Jason was saying great video. Ryan saying great. Go on, everybody go check out. Get Ryan viewing some watch time on his new video today. Sorry, Ryan, I haven't had a chance. Yeah, I got a few other videos I gotta get caught up on as well. Oh, wow. So yeah. So all right, what else can you tell us about your business before I move on to my next quick question here?
No, next question.
You ready for it? Oh, geez. All right. So what do you admire most with people that you work with, or in people in general?
What do I admire?
What characteristic do you admire the most?
I actually find the people I work with specifically, usually in the heat of the moment, I find it difficult to admire. Usually, and I can't help it, but I'm like, oh, you're moving too slow. I saw a video from where's that guy? Let me scroll up here if I can. And yeah, check out his channel too. But let me just scroll up. Oh, tents and event rentals. Those guys do the bigger tents and stuff like that. So check out their channel. It's fairly new, but I saw in one of his latest videos, people were walking slowly to help him out. Like he was pounding a stake. He was the only one who could pound the stake into the ground, first of all. And people were like slowly walking to help him. Like in my mind, when I saw that, I was just instantly angry at those people. Like I want those people to haul. you know, whole ass as hard as they can. If they're not doing that,
Yeah.
I'm not admiring. I'm just like, no, you're too slow. You're not fast. I just can't help it. And I know I'm imperfect in so many ways. And I have the same faults, I'm sure, and I get tired, etc. But when people when people aren't perfect and it's my business, my money on the line, the time is all ticking away, I'm not thinking, oh, what I admire about you. I'm thinking like, what can you do to improve this business that you know needs to grow?
Yeah.
So
yeah. What can you do to help me? Sort of, and be part of the team and grow and whatnot. Absolutely.
Right.
So quick, you gave back to Ryan. Ryan, you're right. I did watch it. I'm sorry. I did remember it now. But everybody else, go and watch Ryan's video. Everybody else. So describe yourself in 3 words as an entrepreneur. Describe yourself in three words.
Okay. yeah. I've heard this question now from a different. I remember you asking this question. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for it. 3 words. That's crazy. Let's see. What?
2 words.
Not. I have no idea. Actually, I'm not. This question has failed me. Because I'm really like, I don't want to be too. Okay, relentless. Maybe we could do that. Like relentless.
Perfect. There you go.
Try to push hard working. That's that's technically 2, but maybe it could kind of represent 1. And yeah, like maybe in a way like a bit I don't know, like I was gonna say unconditional, but it doesn't. You know what? Hardworking is 2. Let's do that. Hardworking, relentless. That's good enough. And honestly, like I'm still trying to work at that. Like I'm not relentless enough. I want to be maximum relentless. I don't even know that's possible. What that even means, but I just don't want to go crazy because I like that. I like giving it my all, I guess. I don't know.
Good for you. Do you read many entrepreneur books or books in general?
Definitely not as much now. As the kids go to bed, you know, stuff like that. Recently, I was reading the biographies. I think I mentioned this. I read Jack Ma's biography. I liked them all because I figured like if you're gonna read something, read it from like the top dude. So Jack Ma, I can't talk, but Jack Ma from China.
From Alibaba. Yep.
That's right, exactly. And he has several other related sites, but I think he owns DHgate. Does he own DHgate? Anyway.
Good question. Does anyone know? Post it.
And okay, I don't know how to post it. What is it? Yeah, so his Jack Ma, Alibaba, and then Elon Musk's, like I mentioned again, I read his biography. Now they're all biographies, so you got to take them with a grain of salt. I mean, even if they're autobiographies, you should still take them with a grain of salt because I mean, you can write whatever you want, right? So, and then honestly, and some of the other books I read have been like non-business related, but in a way that kind of helped me in business. For example, I kind of like fantasy stuff. I recently picked up a book called, maybe if I remember, I'll put it in the description. I think it was called The Book of Days, and book was like Booke, and it was like a diary from the Crusades about this like noble guy, and it was just like epic battles, you know, from a diary perspective of a guy in the Crusades. So it was just like bloody and just I like loved it. And like you think your life is tough until you know, like you think you're going through tough times until like you read this guy's book and all his friends are dying and his servants are like I don't know, it's just wild. And in the end, even though he was a noble to begin with and he survived their crusades, he went back to his town and he just became like a poor guy, like a hermit with no money, and kids would throw rocks at him. So it taught me that even if you're great at the beginning and great in the middle of your life, and even if you go through all the struggles, that doesn't guarantee that you'll end up high. So yeah, that's why you got to push it, because even if you're successful, like that doesn't guarantee your success in the end. So books like that, oddly enough, even though they're not really, they definitely have business lessons. You know, you can find business lessons everywhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, Les. Totally agree with you. Okay, another comment here from a tents and events rental. We go through 20 or so employees a season. Can't find anyone that they want to work these days. It's the hardest part of the business, in my opinion.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. That's all right.
Right. Yeah, I saw, like, that's the guy I was telling you. I saw his guys, like, in this video. Check out his channel, by the way. And again, he does the bigger tents, massive events, $100,000 events. So what is that? Six figure events. And he, yeah, like his guys were walking like so slowly. I'm just like, why are you walking so slowly? So I'm glad he felt the same thing if I was thinking that too. So yeah.
Definitely. So Dave's saying at tents and events rental, it means we're ready for a recession. People not wanting to work, or businesses not wanting business, being lazy. Here we go. Recession time, recession talk.
Yeah. I watch a show called Gold Rush. Okay. I don't know if it's down in the States, but
yeah.
And the most successful guy is the guy that, and like, you know, I want to be nice. Like it's nice to have an environment that's like joyful, you know, and that has interesting things to offer employees. But I remember being an employee, and if we were doing, like, remember working with this construction guy, he hauled ass, and in a way that made the experience kind of more exciting in a way, right? So it was like, he was still fun. He was fun, but he made sure everybody was hauling ass. And I watched a show called Gold Rush, like the youngest
on Netflix or something.
No, it's just on Discovery Channel. It's about these guys who mine gold, and the youngest, three main guys are like mining gold, and the youngest guy is the most like ruthless with his employees. But it seems like he gets the most respect from the employees, and also he makes the most money, even though he's the youngest. So in the end, he's the clear winner. I think I would just add a pinch of like, let's have fun on the job site. But like, you know, when you're setting up a tent, that's a big deal. That's the main structure before the tables, the chairs, the decor, the tablecloths. So that's the part where I want everybody to be focused and serious, setting it up and hauling ass so we can get that done. And then once the hardest part is done, then let's relax and have fun, and like you know, then you can go in the corner and have a cigarette. But yeah, anyway, just rambling from now on.
It's interesting ramble, so keep it going. Keep it going. All right, so Rance Jump wants to talk about buying inventory from China. You're up.
Yeah, so I haven't done that yet directly. I know other companies that have, even smaller ones than mine. So I'm impressed. Like it's a bit of a leap of faith, and that is a question. Now the only problem, and to answer it quickly, is yeah. And by the way, that's a good book too. Is the only problem is quality. So it's not going to be as good as quality. Adam from Tent Guy and other entrepreneur stuff shows the China chairs and the American chairs side by side after 2 years. And you can tell the American made is way better. So yeah, it's a trade-off between cost and quality.
Got it. Got it. And Jason obviously also loves Gold Rush.
Yeah, J-Mac. Yeah. Yeah, Gold Rush is the best. My favorite show. It's the only show I watch other than Star Trek. Yeah. I'm a nerd.
Sorry, say it again.
I'm a nerd at heart, so.
So, okay, so you're a nerd at heart. Well, I mean, how's your computer ability? Just use one word to describe your computer ability in today's day and age of business.
Acceptable.
Acceptable.
It depends where. Like, it's pretty strong. But if you ask my programmer friend, it's not strong. But if you ask, you know, like, I don't know, my next door neighbor, you know, it's strong. But my programmer friend, yeah, it's like, no. If you don't know programming, you know nothing.
So you work on weekends most of the time, correct?
Oh, this comment, I love this comment. I don't know where I'm pointing to. Star Trek kept me alive through tough times in life. Yeah, heavy weekend at the beginning, especially. Then you get better at like spreading it out, I think, as you grow, and at saying no to like ridiculous time things. But yeah, definitely heavy weekend, heavy Fridays. All the fun days are gone.
Yeah. So how about holidays? Have you done the occasional holiday too where you've actually had to work?
Oh yeah, definitely. Pretty much all most holidays.
Most holidays.
Yeah. And I don't mind. I don't even know what holidays like mean. Like I don't even know they're coming up until someone tells me. So that's no problem. Like it's no problem for me, but obviously it's a bit of a problem for employees when it's like 2.5 times pay. Like I don't think so. Yeah. So.
Oh, Les. All right. So is making a phone app a good idea for a rental company? Great question.
The easy answer is yes. I think an app is good for anything, really. But the long answer is that, from what I understand, most apps cost much more money than initially estimated, and most apps completely fail for whatever reason. So it's not as easy as it sounds. But I mean, it's no brainer. I mean, it just adds so much convenience. If it's a good app, like if you actually make a good app, and I think like the realistic starting price is probably 100,000 to make an app that's like working. And so, and I think that's probably on the very low end. So, like that's the tough part. It's actually kind of expensive, and then you might get updates, different iOS updates, etc. So it's kind of you need someone to like kind of watch that as well, and it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, I think you can get that outsourced and get that price down for getting that app built. You can get that outsourced. All right, so
kind of good outsourcer, yeah. Some of it's some reputation.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. Okay, so quickly, Ryan, thanks a lot. Needs to crash intense and events. Setting our first 6-figure event this year. Goal checked. Thanks for the props. Other business don't want to work. There you go. So
yeah, that's true. I said 6-figure, but I guess he had one 6-figure job. So I mean that's still something. That's still insane. So yeah.
Definitely. So what do you appreciate more? What do you like more, the on season or the off season? So you're saying your off season is October 15th to April 15th, pretty much. So what do you like more? Do you like the on season or like the off season?
They both have advantages and disadvantages. You kind of get to relax in the off season physically, which is nice. And the off season, you're making money. I prefer the on season because of the making money, and I'm in business to make money, so I prefer that. But the off season, you get some relaxation. And if I didn't have kids and stuff like that, I would just go to like Thailand and just sit there for $10 a day or whatever it costs, on the beach. But I can't do that. But I think that would be my. I thought about that and like, maybe if I was single. But by the way, I'm very happy with my family. But the on season for sure. Even though it's sometimes, especially like the heavy busy times, it's incredibly difficult with like low amounts of sleep. But it's still good because the money's flowing. So that's nice.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so here we are. I'm liking these questions, this direction here. Morano's jump. So talk about having partnerships or looking for investors. Go, let's go.
Yeah, all the time. Again, I'm a business guy, so I'm always looking for partnerships. I'm always looking for investors, but it is tough. With partnerships, like we were mentioning at the beginning of the stream, I started this business with another friend, with a guy. No, now we're friends, luckily. But it was tough because money's on the line, and etc. With investors, there's a trade-off. So yeah, they give you money, but you lose a piece of the business. And same with partnerships. And so because the event business is modular, sometimes maybe you can do like a module that's something different, and then partner or invest in that module. Tents and Events does that. He just commented a couple comments ago, and he does that with like he has his core business, but then he has like washroom trailers, which he partners with people because they're extremely expensive. And each person has this. One person puts up most of the money, one person cleans them out, one person delivers them. So it's an absolutely fantastic partnership. It works out. It doesn't affect the core business, and so stuff like that is extremely possible. I'm always looking for stuff like that. Technically, I do it in a small way here and there, and I'm always looking for more. I've been actually meeting with investors. But again, it's tough because they want a piece too. Like it's not a free thing. It's not like here's money, and then you're rich. Yeah, there's a trade-off. So you got to be careful too. I would say if you're a first-time gal looking for investors, like you can be burned. I've heard more bad stories personally, anyways, with investors than good ones. I mean, I know people that have lost their life savings. So. I would say, be careful, do your research, do your due diligence, and have. Yeah.
Definitely. So what? Okay, Les. So what are you finding? Are you finding that you're being approached by investors, or are you going out to pitch to investors?
A strong mix of both. Some of my clients basically ask, like, "Yeah, I like your business." And they see, they kind of see you're near the beginning. They kind of like that because if you're too big, they can't really invest. Their money doesn't go as far. So right. A lot of my clients are like, hey, but I feel like it's kind of mostly talk, because in the end, when they have to take the money out of their account and give it to you, they might find it tough. It's like a different story all of a sudden. They talk the talk, they don't walk the walk. Not yet, anyways. I think I met with 3 real ones where we actually met and talked about it. And one guy seemed to be too big, so we delivered. He had the biggest house in one of the communities. This is the biggest house in this community, literally. And we delivered to his house, and then he's like, "Hey, let's meet up for some coffee." And then we talked about investing. And in the end, he's like, my main investing deals here in Calgary, he's the guy that changed all the power poles from wood to like galvanized steel. And he actually bought them from India. And he said that was a $300 million deal. And so he's like, I really wouldn't want to give you like 200,000 or something, because that's like nothing for me. So it's not even a deal I would want to, like, my lawyers would cost me more money. So he had a good point, and that's actually when I learned that, learn about your investor and learn about his price point, and then also recently I learned that banks are a good option because banks are going to want less equity; they just want interest. So don't be afraid to go to the banks. I haven't yet, but I've been hearing that from kind of random realtor people as well, that banks might be something to consider because investors are going to want equity. Banks just want the interest.
Yeah, definitely. Take it to the bank and show your last 3 years of your numbers, right? And just leverage from it, right? Get a line of credit. So away you go.
Numbers speak for themselves sometimes. So if you have good numbers, you can do a lot with that.
Definitely. All right. So Gil at Tech Unboxing Videos complimented your name. There you go.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
All right. How important is the brand?
Yeah, good point. I think the brand gets more important as the business grows, or maybe that's not exactly right. But the tough part is to like some of these big companies, they invest. Starting over. McDonald's. It has the classic, very memorable arches. Okay, that brand is everything. But at the same time, there's brands. Drive through this industrial area. Okay, what do you see? Like Jimmy's Sprockets, like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like you don't even know what's going on. Like Lubes Deluxe, like, you know, like they're not. There's no brand, and
Right.
and they're still working. There's still employees there. They're still working. So brand's interesting because I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but I think if you do it right, it can be huge. You know, so it's an interesting one. I think that's like an essay slash a class onto itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Definitely. I think brand is very, very important. With all my businesses, I will brand it as soon as I possibly can, and I'll try and get a descriptive name in there. If I can't get it in the name, then I'll put it in a slogan or a catchphrase. So just so that people can recognize it, you know, like you say, the golden arches, right? So
right.
Definitely. So, okay, JP S, thanks for joining us. And how do you balance time with your family and business?
Yeah, JP's great.
What?
I do in the off season when I can. I do some home property management. And he's the guy who owns a bunch of those houses. So he's a buddy of mine. Nice to see you. I told him, I think I mentioned, oh no, he watches some of my videos. So he might have saw the promo for this, but yeah, so
thank you for doing that. Thank you. That was great.
So he's it's tough. JP, as you probably know, it's tough. And basically what ends up suffering is the hobby stuff. You know, like I didn't go. I like skiing. I like snowboarding. I didn't go at all. Or maybe once I went last year, but it was like cross country, so it doesn't count. But cross country skiing, I don't know. Some of you might not know the difference of doing downhill and cross country. But yeah, all the hobby stuff. You know, hanging out with friends, as you know, because you and I try to hang out, right? Sometimes, and yeah, that all suffers. And then when we do see the family, I think just having quality time is important. And also when you come home disgruntled from work, these days especially, I really try to forget about that and be positive, because you know, you have an hour of time with your family. If you're happy, in a good mood, laughing, that's much better. If you're like wandering around all sad and like grumpy, you know, and yelling at your kids. So
yeah,
I know that sounds a bit like,
don't bring your whole work home with you. No way.
Right.
Right. So true. Great question, JP. All right. You know what? I think I told you earlier, or maybe I briefly said to you, I was going to try and keep this under 2 hours, and we're at like, 2.5 minutes away from that. It's been a fast 2 hours. So, just to be fair to you, Les.
Thanks.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It's been great. So if anybody has any other questions, throw them out fast now, by all means. Is there anything else that you can, let us know about your business or being an entrepreneur, or giving advice to anybody else thinking, about your industry or anything else?
Yeah. I think follow my channel, Gorothbalion, the YouTube.
You'll learn everything you need to know.
Because you know what, like YouTube, by the way, YouTube, if you're thinking about doing YouTube, if you're on the fence, I mean, you're here, a lot of you already are doing it. I suggest that could be a marketing thing on its own. And it couldn't, I've learned so much through YouTube, more than just like only recently am I monetized, and that's small beans compared to the knowledge that I'm picking up from the community that my business is sort of associated in. So in fact, that's probably the tip. Like if you're thinking of doing like a YouTube channel, like if you're on the fence with that, or even like considered it, just do it, because you're going to be connected with so many people. I didn't ever realize, and I'm such a small channel, that there's so much love out there. So thank you everybody for the subscribers. Thank you for watching those videos, and thank you for teaching me a whole lot of things. So I appreciate that. And oddly enough, that's my advice. I know it's a bit unconventional, but,
no, watch YouTube. And thanks to everybody as well from me as well. I mean, it's just amazing. We got an amazing community, and the amount of people that I've met as well. It's just so fun. It really is. You can learn so much. It's off the charts amazing. So, all right. So another point here, talk about subleasing equipment less.
yeah, sub-renting, I guess. We kind of call it sub-renting. Not that we're in really the right wording. That's not what matters. But yeah, sub-renting. So for example, if I have an event and 100 chairs needs to go out to that event, and we only have 80, we'll just call the other company and rent 20 from them, as if we were another client. And they know by the time like they get to know you, and they do the same to you. So it's completely normal in the industry to do that. In the event industry, ends up happening, and yeah. So it's that simple. Just make sure you do it. You give yourself enough time, because then you're not really worried about call that company, and make sure you put a deposit on those items. Otherwise, they might not have them for you.
Definitely. Definitely. So JP's asking, he says, thanks guys. Do you ever get anxious or worried? If so, how do you manage it? You know what? Let's both answer this one. So Les, you go first.
I like running when I can, not always. And it's sometimes too cold in Canada, but I try to run in the mornings. And even when it's cold, actually I'm doing like a run in the winter time, but running, and by the sort of the more broad is I think exercise. I know it's a weird thing, but exercise really like gets you out of the like mental states. And so sports with friends, like I play tennis sometimes early in the morning with Felix, which you know, and it just like kind of unwinds. We like laugh, play tennis, and then I try to run sometimes. And also if you're in life depressed, which sometimes happens, I jump into a cold body of water, and that like shocks you back into reality, and like you're in so much pain and like it's so cold. And in Canada you can definitely find a cold body of water, but it shocks you back in reality, and then you're not really feeling depressed, you're feeling extremely cold and you're wanting of warmth. And then you realize, hey, what's really important in life, you know? And you find out it's like you go from that pinnacle of like self-actualization, okay, there's like the social pinnacle, to way down to where like security and basic food needs matter. And sometimes people have to go back down there to not be stuck in some mental state about, you know what I mean? So exercise gets you down there, and so does like some sort of intense shock therapy, like jumping in cold water. So those are my tips. I don't know if they apply.
Good points. Good points. So JP, do we ever get anxious or worried? Absolutely, of course, like all the time. Like, are we doing the right thing? You know, are we moving in the right direction? It happens all the time, but most often, I always get overwhelmed. I think at times, if I write down a list, I find that helps me. I just write everything down, and I look back on that list and go, what the heck? Who cares? Like it wasn't that big of a deal to begin with, and whatnot. But you know what? I don't think if we didn't get anxious or worried, I don't think we would be entrepreneurs. And I think that's what drives us, right? It's that fear, it's that worriment, it's the anxiousness at times of being an entrepreneur that drives us and causes us to figure things out. I mean, really big, big time. So, and how do we manage it? I mean, for me, it's exercise. Just like you, Les, it's exercise. I do Taekwondo, get to the gym as often as I can. I box on Thursdays. And that really brings it down to another, easier to manage level. Right. So, but, mentally it's just like speak to others, create a community, talk to other entrepreneurs. It really does help. And the YouTube community is amazing. Or any social media or anybody for that fact, but talk to others, and everybody, you'd be surprised how many other people are going through similar situations. And there's many other options out there for helping you out, sort of thing, to overcome it. So I do like the jumping in the cold water idea though. That's fantastic.
I've done it to people. So like a cousin was depressed or something, and I literally threw them in cold water. You know, pretend to take them on like a hike by the river, and then throw them into cold water.
That's cool. That's really cool. Randy, thanks a lot. Thank you for joining us tonight. Much love from Arizona. Arizona. I was at the I was in Phoenix on Wednesday at the Habs Coyotes game. So
I think I saw some of your Instagram out there.
Yeah. Third row, guys. I mean, hockey's so big in Canada. Third row, you gotta give you like your left arm to get those seats. You know, here in Toronto, but they were $109 and the best seats. It was just amazing.
Oh wow!
So $109, yeah.
My brother-in-law, one of his lifetime like bucket list things was to go to one of the NBA games. So he went to the Raptors game, and yeah, he said it was amazing. Like the seats weren't good, but yeah, it was kind of cool that he managed.
When did he go? Where does he live? Does he live here in Toronto?
No. He flew. He actually works for Memory Express, and they do a bunch of conventions all over Canada because they have a bunch of locations.
Right.
And so he works in the office or whatever. So he actually goes out with the conventions team and to these shows, to these events, and then he just had some time. So
really? He's a big Raptors fan then, I guess, right? Or NBA fan?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you know, there's not. Yeah, like this. It's been good this year for them, right? So.
Yeah, well, hey, next time he's in the city and goes to a game, let me know because I got season tickets for the Raptors.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if anybody's on the stream and wants to meet up at the Raptors game or needs help getting tickets, just let me know. I mean, that's easy enough to get them. So if you know how.
Yeah.
So, all right. So on that note, if nobody else has any other questions, it's well over 2 hours. It's been a lot of fun, Les. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know, and thank everybody for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. Great questions, great comments. Yeah, just off the charts, amazing. A lot of fun. So Joe says he's a Leafs fan. Go Leafs, go. So anyways, guys, thanks a lot. It's been a great time. And by all means, please make sure everybody scrolls up and checks out Les's channel. It'd be great. So, all right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Peace.